Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Lily. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode where we want to share some light and laughs. Always, we want to stay joyful and have you guys hopefully put a smile on your face when you're watching us. That's at the end of the day. All we want. We send some love to everyone watching. Thank you so much for watching us. Yes, lots of love and lots of light always. And we're going to share this topic today that can, I think it's the biggest thing, the concept that I want to simplify so far because it's so hard to imagine. We hear it all the time. Even when I'm about to say it, if I'm not mistaken, I'll give credit. I think it's John Legend. There's a song that pops to my head that's like, we are one all around the world, something like that.
Yes, yes.
So that song pops into my head as soon as I think of this. And the concept is we are one. Oh my gosh. You hear this in songs, you hear this everywhere. But I don't think we ever really just
What is it?
think about it. You're like, okay, we are one.
Mm-hmm.
What does that really mean? You might not agree with this. If you're watching me, you might not agree. But this at this point in my life with what I believe in right now, with my understanding right now, here is what that means to me. And I know this is going to evolve, and I trust me, I know it's going to be hard. It's hard to accept.
I agree.
And I find it hard to accept still. So that tells you where I'm at. Um, and that is that we are all one, as in Lauren is me, I am Lauren, Lauren's mom, my boss. Do you have a boss? Do you like your boss? You know that stereotype of not liking your boss or not liking, let's say a coworker or not, I don't know, that childhood friend. All of those people, even those people that we don't necessarily like, we are
We are
one.
one.
We are one. And you're like, why? How? No, we
How?
aren't. No, we're
Exactly.
not. That
How,
person is not
Lily?
me. But
How?
we are all connected. We are all, if you believe in this, if you are watching this, hopefully you believe in something bigger than yourself, something higher, something that has created and connected all of us. And that is that beautiful light divine that shines on us, that we have inside of us. And that light is in everyone.
It
It
pours
might be
out.
shining a little bit brighter in some than others. It's in there though. It's in there from every person that you can think of, whether you like them, love them, or strongly dislike them, because I don't love that H word.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but
Our words are powerful, everyone. Be
yeah,
careful how you use those words.
and it's unfortunate sometimes to think of. You don't want to accept it, but we are one. So I wanted to talk about this because it's for me. In another video we talked about, Lauren is very currently passionate about, her self-worth. You have to go watch that topic because Lauren dropped a lot of wisdom for that.
That's it.
So, finding our worth, the topic that I have been faced with recently, that I have been challenged to really embrace, is that. And that is that we are one. And I will accept that it is really hard for me because my human brain struggles to see that relation in someone that might be not being the best person toward me, and then not only not react, and then not only wish them well and wish
Yes.
them right and want them to find something better for themselves, but also then think we are one, like this person and I are the same. And then it's like, what?
How?
No. No. So I will say, in my growth, in my journey, at this moment, when you are watching this video, this is where I'm at. I could be somewhere else tomorrow. I could be somewhere else in a month. I might have embraced it, accepted it, and now I see the whole world as one. Who knows? It will happen. I believe it. It will happen.
Well,
But my human brain right now is trying to really become aware. 'Cause damn, that self-awareness
it's
can get
big,
to some
right?
deep levels. And I think this is one of the deepest levels that I have been challenged with recently, to try to see and accept. And I will say that when a little part of me starts to feel all of this, everything disappears. Everything. Everything just dissolves.
Stop,
Everything, yes,
really.
because when you are one, what is there?
You can't be angry with your, like all those emotions dissipate. I see.
It
But
would
you have to have an open
all
mind.
melt.
You have to have an open mind to
And
this.
I know this is mind blowing. And every time that I get that moment, so here's the thing, we talk about, wanting to be this person throughout your day. I could be in the beginning of my day thinking about this, and I'm just like, whoa, we are one. I love it. And then the next day, I'm like, this person's mad at me. And the same day, an hour later, I'm like, this person's mad at me. I'm not that person. That's okay.
Exactly.
That's okay. As long as we try to have that little moment, that little spark get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. That's what we are trying to do. So me right now, when I think of this, I see how that could just liberate me from everything. Imagine being able to detach to that level. It is mind blowing. You might think
Wow.
no one can. Yes, I am very blessed to know people who do. And you're like, no, you don't. No human can. Yes, I
You can.
know it's crazy to think about, but there are humans like that out there. And if you are, fortunate enough, maybe you can meet one. You have to really open yourself to the universe, like I just said it, and think that we are those people. And they might not look how you want them to look, because you might think, oh, this person must just look so magical, so beautiful, so approachable, because
We
they
are one.
maybe they have this smile on their face because they know that we are. Nope, nope, that person can be anyone. And just, they have that peace about themselves, hopefully, that you can sense that there is no barrier, there is no shield. They don't feel they are not connected to you. That's a concept that I wanted to touch on. I know it's such a deep thing, Lauren. I know you, it's really, really
Wow.
hard. I
It
know. I
it
know.
is. It is. But I really want to touch on this because like you said, it's a hard topic to grasp.
It's so
But
difficult.
if this whole podcast is trying to teach people how to, really get in touch with themselves, really become more of their best version, right? This is a really big part of that because it's a humble part. It's a very humble fact of realizing we are all interconnected. We are all interdependent, whether we think so or not. I don't think that I am interdependent to the janitor that's cleaning the gym across the street from my house, right? But we are, and in a sense, you have to open your mind to expand. And I'm going to try to elaborate how. Well, we were all created by a higher power. We were not just put here on this planet because of, and whether you believe of the Big Bang Theory, Adam and Eve, to be discussed however you feel. But how did you end up here? How did we all end up here? And with that being said, we are all taught from a young age. The ecosystem is so dependent upon another. Let's talk about the little baby bees, right?
Oh,
It starts
I
with like the little baby bees.
my favorite.
They need the honey, they need the flowers, they need they need all of these things in order and to produce, right? But then they are also part of the chain of the ecosystem. I don't know who eats bees, but somebody eats them. And but what I'm trying to say is, okay, there's the little fish in the pond, and it provides something, right, of value to our ecosystem. And then there's something larger that needs that little something. It kind of depends on it in order to be that bigger something, right? And we are humans that have the ability of having self-awareness, which differentiates us from any other animal on this planet. We are self-aware. And when you really tap into being self-aware and you really try to approach this we are one topic with an open mind, you can see how us humans need each other in order for this world to go around. And just like you brought up, we might have someone we strongly dislike. We are not friends with. We are not even in their same vibrational frequency. How do I look at that person as me? And I think that really stems from, again, coming from, as we discussed in a previous episode, coming from a place of love, right? Worthiness. I feel that I am worthy, right? If I am worthy and we are one, you are worthy. And whatever my values and principles are, which we discussed in previous episodes, that is what makes me feel worthy. Well, I should treat you that same way because we are one. And like you had said, coming from a place of love, right? So that is hard. That is not easy, right? We are, instant gratification world at this time. So we are very emotionally reactive because we base a lot of our interactions on our emotions and our feelings. But when you get into that, tapping into your self awareness, your values, your principles, what makes you tick? What gives you meaning and fulfillment? Once you have tapped into that, you can begin to entertain this idea of we are one because I value love. I value respect. I value compassion and honesty. What does that mean? I'm going to treat the homeless man on the street. I'm going to treat my boss. I'm going to all treat them the same way I want to be treated, right? Because I value these things. And with that being said, we are in a sense dependent upon how we treat one another, right? Not necessarily when it comes to worthiness, but if we are all one and this concept of, well, I'm one with my enemy or I'm one with someone I dislike, then it has to be based on the fact of I'm treating them the same way I want to be treated, regardless of how I feel about that person.
I want to take what you're saying a step further. In one of our previous episodes about feeling worthy and finding our worthiness, you referenced a book. So I'm going to reference Dolores Cannon book. Dolores Cannon, rest in peace. Her daughter does some great work now, by the way, if anyone wants to follow her daughter. Her book, The Three Ways of Volunteers and the New Earth, which I have talked to you about before.
On my to-do list for reading.
In that book, we are introduced to this concept. It is a concept because there's so many different concepts that I have taken and blended and created as what I believe, my belief. So there is this concept that we come into this life, to this challenge, and that we have picked it and we are going through this journey, and that our enemies are also selected to be our enemies, to teach us lessons.
Wow.
That those enemies in the spirit world could be our closest spirit to us, that we love them, but they have chosen for this particular journey of this life, of this lesson, to come in and be your enemy and play that part to help your soul grow
Yeah.
and learn. So
Wow.
when
Wow.
so that is when I think, okay, we are one. I'm taking away anything human about us, and I'm bringing it down to just the spirit that we are and the light that we are, and that at the end of the day, we always have been. So that is where, everything dissolves, because if my enemy, if that person that came to do maybe harm in my life was meant to, and sometimes you think of the worst things that could have ever happened, some of the worst things in history that could have ever happened, and then it's not to justify any of that, but it is every soul's free will, because we have free will. Once we decide to come, we make all these choices that can lead to some horrible things that for
Mhm.
some reason that soul had that free will and decided to do. That doesn't mean that any of that was necessarily part of that plan, but because we have free will, once we come, we make those choices and we decide. So for me, the we are one concept is that it's picking that person that maybe at this time in your life is giving you the biggest trouble. So I want everyone to maybe do this with me. Imagine that person
Mhm.
and then try to imagine that that person is teaching you a lesson, and
Mhm.
then try to see that that person maybe isn't bad,
No.
and
Yes.
try to even imagine, okay, what if this is that soul that I am so close to in the spiritual world, but they came here for that reason. And I don't mean this for some of the most horrific things that happen in life. I don't want that to be applied for some of the worst things, because at the moment, yes.
But I'm having a semi an epiphany with what
Okay.
you're
This
discussing.
is great. I
Be-
love it.
I'm
'Cause
here
it's
for it
deep. It's
because
deep.
hear me out. I feel like I'm grasping this concept
Okay.
in a
Yes.
different aspect.
Yay.
You're
I love it.
talking about it. Now hear me out. You even wanted to say our actions, right? If they were coming from a previous soul, like in our before we entered this physical realm, our
Mhm.
soul has had probably karmic soul flames in its past life, right? And relationships, and that the soul has maybe come onto this planet, this physical earth, and chose to be my enemy to teach me a lesson. And then you were saying it doesn't go into, you don't want to say this goes into any of the horrific events that happened in our world, but I want to say it does, because
Oh,
hear
it
me
is
out,
part of our
hear me.
journey. I just don't want to excuse or try to simplify any of that for anyone that might feel very strongly about some of those things. I don't want anyone to feel like I am diminishing what that is.
But hear me out. I'm now seeing what you're saying as this soul, or let's just talk about a war, okay? Because that's one of the most horrific things that are coming to my mind.
Okay.
But that war was needed to teach countries, to teach civilians, whatever the lesson was that we can get out of it. And that is such unifying. That is so unifying to think that even these horrific events have actually combined us all to being one, because we've all been taught a lesson through whatever these events are. So you can look at it in the macro section of the worldwide, Or then you could even bring it down to a micro section and look at it towards your life. But embrace what's teaching you lessons. That is one of you. You were put here on this earth. We are not perfect. We are all going through lessons that we are learning.
And
But
to
we
add to
are
what
the
you're
lesson.
saying, yeah, to add to what you're saying, then comes forgiveness. Because
Hard.
the reason that I see everything melting when I think of us all being one bright, beautiful light is because in that light, in that pure form of that light, there is no feelings, no negative feelings.
Oh,
So,
that's a
so
that's a deep
then,
one too.
so then forgiveness is part of that melting away, because when you can forgive someone, when you can forgive what took place, that is a huge weight lifted off of you, which brings you higher. And then finding, that's when, with the part that you're saying, finding the lesson, the concept of, whatever it might be, and all of it is part of it. But after learning it and even being grateful for the lesson, forgiving, because we are one.
Letting go and surrendering to this idea of we
That
are
doesn't
one.
mean necessarily that you have to then go and actively love the person you have forgiven. That doesn't mean that. It is for you. It is for your light. It is for your frequency.
Yes.
So that's, something else that has to do with you, only you being able to see that we are one, because this is not for everyone at this moment. This is not for everyone in their lifetime. It's for
No.
whoever sees this and is able to and wants to challenge themselves,
Keyword challenge.
wants
Yes.
to challenge themselves to this concept that I don't hear a lot about.
Well, we
That
hear it in songs, but we don't elaborate on it.
no, people right now might find it more beneficial to do the opposite, because of so many things that do physically and as humans make us different. It's so much easier sometimes to focus on that, and I'm guilty. But
Aren't
to
we all,
having
right?
to having those moments where you can try to get into this concept a little bit more, to try to really figure out if you can practice this, if you can, every time there is that person, even if you didn't respond the best way you wanted to the interaction, can you look back at the interaction and then tell yourself that person is a light, that person is me, we are all the same person, I forgive them, there's nothing there, that any kind of resentment or any kind of negative feeling there. So
I just want to say, Lily, as you're saying that, I'm envisioning myself doing it. And viewers, if you're doing it with me, it's not necessarily the easiest thing, but it's a very good challenge
it'll be
that I want to
freeing.
practice.
It's
Yeah.
freeing because when you're giving your light away, your power away, in a sense.
Yes, you
Your
are.
power is being able to see so much further at this moment. If you're watching this, if you can imagine this is your power, this is your strength, being able to see past what the person that might not be able to see, they only see here, but you right now are trying to see here.
Yeah.
And it's difficult, but if you are trying to do this with us, feel proud of yourself
Yes.
that you can open yourself to this because someone might have heard me say this in the beginning and they're like, screw her, closing this. My
This
enemy is
ain't
not
for
the
me.
same. And that's fine. Maybe one day in the future, something will happen where that person could think back to this concept and then embrace it then. And then have the resource to have you understanding your version, different versions of it as we spoke.
Of course.
So
And
I
I want to
yeah,
highlight, I don't mean to interrupt, but I want to also make it very clear that this is not something that happens overnight. You don't just take this concept that we're discussing, and then tomorrow you wake up and that's it. We are one. Like, no, like, you need to really embody it, really like
yeah,
understand it, and what does it mean to you? Because what it means to Lily and what it means to me are different, but I still agree with the concept in the same sense that what
you
you're saying.
applied it to different levels just in the conversation that we had.
Yeah.
So everyone with whatever situation it is in their life can try. And why would you want to do this? Because you feel lighter. Because
Your
you
vibration.
yes, the lighter you feel, the lighter you are. And imagine there is no higher vibration than this, I think. When
I, I
you
have
can
I have to
achieve
say,
it.
Lily, I'm really so focused on high vibrations right now, and I really want to make it clear, although I'm very positive, I'm very about positive energy, and visualizing that like this gold light is, raining inside of me and this gold light is showering outside of me. I do really want to make it clear that this wasn't done overnight, okay?
We're still
And
trying.
and let's keep it 100. There's a little bit of a toxicity of trying to always pretend everything is positive. You got to be realistic sometimes, but again, I think it all develops onto the skill of self-awareness. So we want to be positive. We want to act
Yeah,
in a positive way. But when
yeah.
something challenging comes into play, see it for what it's worth, but it's all about being self aware, analyzing how it makes you feel, and then seeing how you can go deeper and seeing how it is all interconnected. For
Mhm.
me, the lessons learned keeps popping up, but I think with you, as what I'm understanding is, it's more like our souls are all connected because, in a sense, we are coming from this higher power and we're all interrelated, we're all interdependent because our souls need each other to become the best version of who we are. We kind of signed up for the challenges and the great times
Yeah.
before we even entered into this
And
world.
some stuff we didn't sign up for, some stuff we brought along with us, and we're trying to work through it. And want to go back to what you said. No, we don't go out into the world and
Mhm.
live these like perfect, positive lives. But on here, Lauren and I have felt that we have something inside of us that wants to help spread a positive message.
Yes.
And we have decided to bring that hopefully best version of ourselves that day when we do this, and hopefully help that person get closer to that best version of themselves. And that version will never be perfect because that is impossible. We cannot be. And we will still fall back into some of those challenges that we keep repeating, and the problems we keep
Hmm.
having to work through. But maybe every time that problem, we see it in a different way. Maybe every time that problem can get smaller. I think as we bring up these concepts of values and passion and worthiness and this, which is to me one of the most ultimate ones.
Yeah.
It's not that we are here at this moment. It's not that we have reached our potential to the max of our worthiness and we're like, okay, this is the most worthy I've ever felt in my life. No, it's just at the moment where we're at, how we're growing. And I wanted to bring this topic up now. And I would love for us to revisit this topic in a year or 6 months. And then, because Lauren and I, we've been putting in the work, just how you said, it's not from one night to another that I wake up and I'm like, everybody's the same. No, I meditate. I try and meditate almost every day. And I try to do a little bit of other practices almost every day. And that helps.
And it helped you get to where we are today.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to, if you keep putting that work in, it's going to help you get to where you're going to be in a year, which will be even more evolved than where we are now.
Because we're doing the work.
Yes.
It's not just, we heard a lot of really nice things, learned a lot of really nice things, but we're not actually practicing it.
We're showing up and we're putting the reps in,
Yes. And you physically have been with your 75 hard, which I know we got into in another video, but Lauren's been doing this really cool challenge for 75 days. She's about a third of the way through. What are you?
I am out almost at my first month, so I'm not even 1/3 of the way, but I am at day 19, and I have to say that I'm just feeling so accomplished because I'm at day 19.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep it 100. I almost quit yesterday, and it's raining today. I have to get one of my workouts in.
Lauren is in the East Coast, so you get weather. You get the real definition of weather. I'm in California, and it is cloudy, and this is cloudy for us. You guys can't see.
And if I turn this camera around, we are looking at full-on rain.
Skies, and I'm saying it's cloudy. And it's starting to feel like fall for us. Obviously, we got so yes, we put the work in and we try. It's not just so simple, but we want to, go through these topics with you guys and revisit them even later as we keep growing.
And Lily, I really want the viewers to practice this. I really want them to they're worth it. I want them to put the work in. Same way we're putting the work in, right? Apply it. Don't just listen to it. Take 5 minutes for yourself and try and determine, how do you see the world and how can you make it a viewing of we are one? It's so much about self-awareness and how you view yourself and then how you can view it relating to others. Right?
I completely agree. I love it. I want all of our viewers to try and practice that, even if it's just for a couple seconds a day. Thank you so much for watching, you guys.
We love you guys so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate all of your comments, all of your feedback. So make sure to leave that down below and tell us what you think of this concept and how you perceived what we just covered. We'll see you guys later.
You can apply it in your life. Maybe we can learn from you.
I love that. Oh yeah, this is deep for all the levels. Thank you so much for watching. We wish you the best. Lots of love.